I was in the shower the other day and I just started to think to myself, why do Americans consume so much? Why is it so hard for us to limit ourselves on the things we watch, that we eat or drink, or how much we spend? And after thinking of this question, I naturally started to look at myself and question myself, why do I consume so much? Why is that such a focal point of my life? What I found is that I think people are trying to fill a hole in their lives, or a hole in themselves. But the problem is all this consumption of all these different entertainment or whatever it is actually making the hole bigger inside of us, which doesn't make sense to us because we're consuming all this. Shouldn't it be filling that hole in us? But it's just making it bigger somehow. Like, it doesn't make sense. An example I thought of is when you dig a hole at the beach, and you can try and fill that hole with water. The water's easy to get. It's right there. You can try to fill that hole with water. But the thing is, as we all know, the water doesn't last. It sinks into the sand. And now you're left with that hole again. Yes, you successfully filled that hole in, but it only lasted for like 30 seconds? This is the type of solutions that Americans go for these days. We don't take the time to do things the right way, to wait till you have good materials like cement or something to fill that hole. The cement, it was harder to make, it was a lot more, it took a lot more time, it was harder than just filling it up with water, but it lasted longer. It actually fixed the problem. It didn't just fix it for a second, but it was a long-term solution. When I started to think deeper about this, I started to wonder, okay, a lot of us have this hole in our heart or in our being, but where is it coming from? And obviously, I think it could come from a few things. Um, it could be just you're in a bad mental state right now, or you're dealing with a breakup, or whatever it is. That's what it means to be human. We go through these things, and that's okay. Or maybe you're just lazy. You're struggling to find encouragement. You're struggling to go after your aspirations. It's okay, but go out and ignite that fire in yourself, or find those aspirations or whatever it is. It could be something like this, but I think a lot of us, it's really the trap that we put ourselves in our mind, or like the glasses we look through. We have become super dependent on instant gratification, and we don't have the patience to wait for good things. We have gotten so used to getting things right when we want them. You want the new Minecraft McDonald's meal? DoorDash it in 10 minutes. You want to watch your show, but you're at school. It's fine because you have your phone, it's always with you. And the problem with not waiting for things is that good things come with time and effort, and the thing about this is that things gained instantly don't take much time or effort. So we just want the cheap band-aids from the dollar stores that stay on for like 2 seconds, and the second it touches water, it's useless. Another big thing with this consumption problem is I feel like we're all looking for rest. And a lot of us wake up and we're already tired. We feel very unrested all the time, and that's not good. You need to listen to that. If you need a rest, you need a rest. But the thing is rest is quite the opposite of opening up your phone and watching YouTube or scrolling on TikTok for hours. That is quite the opposite of rest. Yes, you are resting your body, but you are tiring out your mind. We need rest in every aspect of our lives. This includes we need mental rest, we need emotional rest, we need physical rest, we need spiritual rest. I bet you that you are only getting one of these, and it's probably the physical rest. But maybe it's time to ask yourself, what are you doing to rest your mind? And if you're not doing anything, maybe it's time. Create, write a song, draw, paint, take a walk, or talk to a positive friend. Whatever it is, make sure that you are resting your mind and not just your body. Or maybe you're in need of spiritual rest. Maybe you need to spend some time today with God, or going to your college group, or whatever it is. We need to stop normalizing the idea that watching TikToks is rest, because it's not. It's fine to do sometimes, but it's not rest. You shouldn't be doing that to rejuvenate yourself. The final idea to all of this is I noticed we often like to run from ourselves. And I think a lot of us are scared to be left alone in our own heads. Maybe it's time to take time out of your day to make you a person that you want to be around, a person that you want to be. Maybe this is to stop looking in the mirror and telling yourself you're ugly or you're not good enough. Maybe it's someone that's just not being very encouraging, or just having negative thoughts all the time, That's not a very good companion to yourself. I it sounds cheesy, but it's really important, Like you're going to be and you're going to be yourself, for the rest of your life. Make yourself someone that you want to be, someone that you want to be in, a head that you want to be in. Every time we run to a screen when we are alone, we are only covering up all these problems and making that hole bigger in ourselves. Learn to love yourself in a healthy way, take care of yourself, encourage yourself. So my final message to you is maybe it's time to ask yourself, why are you consuming so much entertainment or spending so much money, like why do we need to consume so much? And maybe it's time for you to start creating stuff or to figure out ways to be more comfortable with yourself, to fill that hole that you have, and to stop trying to fill it with things that are temporary. Maybe it's time to start monitoring yourself and asking yourself, why do you need to consume so much, What is causing that desire in you? So that's pretty much all I have for today. I'm sorry I haven't been posting as frequently. I was super sick. That's why I don't know if you could hear it still, but I lost my voice and everything. So, thank you for watching, and I'm excited to see where this goes. And if you guys have any topic ideas that you want me to talk about, comment it down below and I'll take a look at it. And I think that's it. So, thank you for watching.